here at Sunshine and Grace, where I make beautiful things for life sown in sunshine and grown in grace. Today we are doing a very, very simple project tonight. We are taking images from magazines and we are making them vintage looking so that we can use them in some vintage things that I'm making this next little bit, and just because they look good and shabby chic. So what I did was, this was out of our local Real Electric magazine. They had these little, they were just all little squares, very pretty pictures, but I thought they looked new, like, they weren't vintage at all. So I wanted them to have more of a vintage old feel, even though they are new pictures. And you can see they definitely do. I have not trimmed them all down yet, but you can see. So what we're going to do is we're going to use, this is pretty, an eagle. I like this small town. But all of them have a very distinct vintage look and just turned out, I think, really, really pretty. Here's another one. This one has a little bit less of a vintage look, but it's still very pretty. So what we're going to do is you're just going to take a magazine, a catalog, anything that has kind of glossy paper that you don't necessarily want to use the way it is and looks a little too bright and fresh, and you're going to flip through and find a page that you like, preferably that has somewhat uniform. Just ignore the mess, guys. I'm working on a couple of projects while we do this. Has uniform pictures and pictures that would be interesting done as to use in a journal as an accent. So I flipped through this Jung Seed and Plant catalog because, yeah, that was what I had available, and found the following, this page right here. And I thought it was really pretty. The dahlias are absolutely stunning. That is something I would definitely use in a journal. And I like that they are squared. So, yes, they do have a little bit of writing on them, but that's okay. By the time we get done with this, you won't really notice the writing. So what we're going to do is we're going to open this protective sheet up. This is a cereal bag, you guys. That's what I use for protective sheets. Cereal bags. I don't even buy cereal anymore, but I kept all the bags from it. And we're going to need some ink, and we're going to need a little bit of alcohol, and if you really want to get really antique-y, some coffee dye. That is literally just leftover coffee, guys. Alright, and you're going to need some Mod Podge, which is sitting off to the side. It's something to apply it with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut, no, I'm not. We're just not going to work with this part over here because we don't need it. We're going to work only on the actual flowers, so we'll ignore these little squares too. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to take and put Mod Podge on our paper and then just start spreading it. Those others were in a nice neat line that I could just kind of cut the lines out. I can't get to my cutter now, so. And you're only going to work with a little bit at a time because you're going to have to do some things to this to make it do what you want. So put a pretty good layer of Mod Podge on there. Get it down a little bit. Take your spray and just spritz it. And then grab some kind of a, this is a tea bag. If you have a coffee filter, that works too. I think I actually have some coffee filter. And you just take and you dab it in there to give some texture to that tooth. And it just gives it a little more of that antique look. And it gets you started. Okay? And you let that sit and dry a little bit while you work on the next section. We're going to move up into this corner and glue it down. You want to keep you want enough glue that it puts some tooth on there, but it gives it some sturdiness, but you don't want it to be super, super like gloppy to where it takes like, hours to dry, because that's just annoying. So we're going to spritz it. And then we're going to take our, got more of these little things all over the place here that I didn't even know about. and take our little coffee filter and dab it up. Now this also makes your coffee filter look pretty cool when you're done with it, because it picks up some of the coffee and it'll pick up that glue and gives it this like really cool see-through texture. Okay, then we're going to move down and do these. I'm going to start right here and work our way down this row. And if you overlap a little bit, that is absolutely fine, because again, this is not a perfect project. It is just a project that gets some color and some interest going. And I think it turned out really, really cool. Spritz it. And you'll notice that as you get the overlap, the colors get richer, and I'm going to just grab this one. I like the coffee filters better than that. That's got like a really thick texture to it that I don't actually like for daubing. And then daub it up. You can also take and just like lay it down flat and pull it up. I have done both. I always get worried that that's going to stick too much. And then just kind of daub it around and let it dry. Do the next section. If you had a matte Mod Podge, that would also work really, really well and look really, really cool, which is basically what I'm trying to do, mimic with the coffee filter, is kind of give it that matte feel. But I don't have matte Mod Podge. So just having to kind of wing it here. It's starting to get a little gloppy. So we'll put those two to the side. And like I say, you don't throw them away. Oh, that one's still got a little bit of dryness. I take and use them. I'm going to put them aside and let them lay out and dry, because they'll be useful for other projects. They work really good to stamp on, actually. They pick up like almost a glassine look when they dry. So you just kind of lay them off to the side. And then we've got 3 more to go. And then we will go back to the first ones that we did and finish them, because it does take 2 layers. Okay, spritz it. I can't find any more coffee filter, you guys. So we're just going to tear off a piece of this. Use it. Oh, now I'm actually liking it. It might have more teeth to it. Okay. Alright. So those are all done. Now, we're still a little damp up here, so I'm just going to kind of fan it a little bit to get some air over it. Don't do that, peeps. Alright, now you're going to take and hit this whole thing with alcohol. Okay, just spritz it really good. And you can see that changed the color again. And then we hit it with more coffee. If you wanted to add salt or something to do some discolorations, you could. And then I just kind of fan it, because that alcohol really makes it dry real quick. That, and then as it dries, you will see that this is, I probably missed it more than I meant to. We'll give it a second and then we'll blot it some more. But as it dries, it gets a really dark, pretty look to it. So then we just come back over it and blot it again. And we don't have to do it in any certain way. Just blot, 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 blot. And get it a little bit drier. Okay. And then let it sit till it dries. Once it is completely dried, you will take and just cut each one of them out, and then they look like this. If you want them a little stiffer, you could, once it's dry, go back over it again with Mod Podge. I probably will not. I will probably actually back this on like a a thin piece of cardstock or something to put below it to make them a little thicker. But I actually kind of like them like this when they're just thin, because they kind of, where did I put it? Oh, this. I used one on this to make an altered ATC, and you can see that actually worked really well because it kind of let me fit it in even with the layers without it being all weird. And I used a thin word to go with it and then put the flower on, and you can see how they turn out when used in a project. They are absolutely pretty, and that really looks vintagey. I mean, it's very vintagey. I loved it. All right, that is that, you guys. That is probably one of the quicker projects we will ever do, because I just needed something quick tonight, and like I say, I'm in the middle of 2 or 3 projects, and I am going to show you how to do the ATCs, but that's going to be a longer video. And I just wanted to get this one finished because it's getting late and I'm getting tired. And so I thought I would do this because this shows you how to get the images to use in the ATCs that we're going to do. Okay, does that make sense? So the ATC video will be coming this coming Friday, the 12th, I think it is. It's the day before my craft show, you guys. I am a nervous wreck about this craft show. I do not do well at these things. Public all by myself. I am going to be all by myself, so I am a little nervous, but I'll be fine. I got this, right? Not God's got this, and that's good enough. That'll work. So there we are. I'm gonna let those dry, and I will cut them apart, and they will be beautiful. Now, I do usually take them off of the plastic sheet just in case the glue on the sheet would be being persnickety. See, I accidentally got glue on my table, but we're going to lay it right there. And we're going to move that to the side. Okay, so, guys, I'm loving it already. I mean, that is night and day different. Like, you can see this side is untouched, and like there, so different. Let's just get the book back, and let's flip to a page in there that was close to where those were, like these. Those aren't big enough. I'm gonna do these too. I think they would look really good, but look at the difference, guys. These look old. These do not. That just has such a pretty soft vintage look. And there's probably better ways to do it, but for me, that gives that tooth and texture that I like so well. That kind of makes it, I don't know, just a little more me. So anyways, I hope you guys have an absolutely awesome day, and that you remember that Jesus loves you so much he died for you. And if you do not know that, I would love, love, love to tell you about my precious Savior, tell you the greatest love story ever, and get you settled for all eternity right now. So you can drop a comment below, or hit me up over on social media. It's Random McCulley on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. You can just type in my name and it'll bring me up. All right, so you guys have a great night, and we will chat soon. Okay, grace and peace. Bye bye.